how's everyone doing? So I decided that I wanted to do a post response to, I think it's stephievon. Her question about comfort music was just an amazing, really good discussion. Now, I don't know if this might be something new for some people who do watch my videos who don't know me, who know me through the vinyl community only. I appreciate it if you're following. It's amazing to know that people are interested in what I'm doing. The biggest thing for me in my life, obviously things are changing now with the vinyls, but hip-hop is a really big thing for me. It's just funny because I was in high school, and when I was in high school and I started out, it was around 10th grade, after my phase of like middle school where I was into hard rock and stuff like Slipknot or Korn or Seven Dust, and then Radiohead came, and that sort of blew my mind and sort of skyrocketed me into more serious stuff, and I was into that a lot. And then in 10th or 11th grade, I started listening to that rapper Atmosphere, who's an underground rapper who I showed in the past video. And from there, I started listening to some other, just underground hip-hop simply. Nothing else really, and I was, and then I realized the one thing about hip-hop that I've always loved over time and learned is that with hip-hop, it's not like it's like with our band, where a band can go, oh man, U2 used to be great back in the day, but they really sold out, now they're playing all this mainstream stuff and they're all over the radio. Hip-hop's not like that. For me, hip-hop is just either it's good or it's not. And all those high guys that people hold in high regard that are considered the mainstream people, they're not looked down upon for selling out. They're considered the kings and the best. People like Jay-Z, DMX, The Roots, artists like that, and Kanye West, they're just super talented. And in my opinion, hip-hop is the music that's going on today that affects our youth the most. It's a thing that's constantly changing. Now, people who only know hip-hop from just a mainstream appeal might not understand that or see that, but until this vinyl community thing came around and my vinyl started, I started getting into this thing and collecting, what would I do in my spare time? I was just reading music blog after music blog and searching hip-hop blog after hip-hop blog and just finding tons and tons of new hip-hop. And every single day there's just unsigned artists and new people. They're putting out mixtapes, full-length albums that are, mixtapes of theirs are just better than albums that people sell in stores. Hip-hop for me is a comfort zone. Now, Steffi, it's not necessarily a thing I listen to when, I'm sad or down and out. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've had some rough patches more recently, the last couple of years, but I'm usually a pretty optimistic person and have a positive outlook on things, as the glass being half full. So I usually don't get too down on myself. But in general, it's what people hear most in my car. Having the production is big for me. Wordplay, just the way that people can just make these rhymes are big to me. So, one of the biggest things in hip-hop actually, like I said, had the Atmosphere thing going, and then underground hip-hop, and then started realizing that the mainstream stuff that people loved, and then hip-hop just became my #1 thing I would go to, amongst other things, obviously. And then production became a big thing for me, and getting into different producers. The biggest influence for me was Jay Dilla. Jay Dilla was a hip-hop producer who passed away in 2006 from having, a couple different things like, lupus, another rare blood disease, passed away real young. He actually was working on his magnum opus record, basically, while he was on his deathbed before he passed away. It's called Donuts. And the guy just has so much music, and all he did was just breathe music, and he has so many beats that still aren't released. And I was just obsessed with him. I still am. I mean, I just sort of, I know all this stuff like the back of my hand. So hip-hop for me is really where it's at. Just to show you, I don't have as many vinyls of the hip-hop records that are really, all my favorites. It's not as easy to come across them, especially unless you're spending lots more money on them. But just to show you a few I have. I just showed this one the other day. This is brand new, so I'm not as familiar with it, but this is a really good hip-hop record from what I listened to so far. It's just a bit different. It's out there, which is another way of, expressing yourself through hip-hop. From a guy named Dialect from Filthy Tongues of Gods and Riots. Really great cover as well. My first J Dilla record. This is the first posthumous release that J Dilla released. Pete Rock. Basically, Pete Rock was the music supervisor. Pete Rock's another really great producer. It's popular. Him and his J Dilla's mother, who's referred to as Ma Dukes, who I actually saw in person at a tribute concert I went to for him, where they just played Stuff All Night. She was the executive producer of this record. So this is has some guest appearances from artists such as M.O.P., Danny Brown, Black Thought, MF Doom, Frank Nitti, Raekwon the Chef, his brother Illa J, but a lot of it is mostly just his different beats that haven't been put out before. So, I mean, this is the man right here. JD, aka J Dilla, aka Dilla Dog. This is the guy you guys have to check out. It's not, if you think you're not really a big hip-hop person, this is the guy that's going to change it for you. This is the guy that you're going to hear, and it's not just going to be hip-hop. It's just simply amazing music, and it's just unbelievable what he's created in this lifespan. Now, this is one you guys have also seen recently, but I figured it'd be great to show. It's the Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and I'll be honest with you, Kanye West, in my opinion, is one of the greatest hip-hop guys. The way he surpassed some other people in his amount of time is just unbelievable. His first few records are good, but Graduation was the first one for me with Kanye West, so I was just like, this guy is a great. I like the first couple, Late Registration, College Dropout, they're fun, but I don't really go back to them at all. Graduation, that's the one. And if anyone's familiar with Kanye West's work, his record before this and after Graduation was 808s and Heartbreaks, and he got a lot of stuff for that, a lot of crap for that, because it wasn't just straight hip-hop, and it's very poppy, and the whole record is done with 808s on the 808 drum machine. I personally love it. So for me, I mean, I thought, I love it when artists step out of that boundary and do something different. I'm sure all you guys feel the same exact way as me about that idea and that concept. So I was a big fan of 808s and Heartbreaks, and I thought it was a great way of him doing something different, and he needed it, It was just around the time that he had a big breakup with his girlfriend, and his mother passed away, who he's extremely close to, so he went into this different place and put out 808s, and I think it's a touching album, and I love it. And then he put this out, and it was just like, are you freaking serious? Because it was just, after that, a couple years later, I knew it was coming. He was doing guest appearances on a Rick Ross track that I love from the Rick Ross's last album, Teflon Don. And every single guest appearance he was coming out on was just off the chain in terms of how great the verse was. So I was just like, man, he's just so hungry right now. It's just, I just can't wait till it comes out. This record came out, and it just blew my mind from start to finish. I know a couple of you guys mentioned how you had it. I know my boy with Cool Ranch Dressing has a copy of this album and had to get right away. It really is just an amazing album. This layout of this record is also amazing with the fold out, and there's just songs on here. When I hear a song like I'm So Appalled, it just blows me away and how great it is. I just love I'm So Appalled is probably one of my favorite tracks on the record. Every single appearance on that song is amazing. Also, even though it's not really the go-to because it became got played so often, a song like Power, everyone knows the song Power. Imagine what Power will be when you look back at it in 10, 15, 20 years in terms of hip-hop songs. I mean, it's just a song of its own. Just to give you an idea of some of my favorite artists, some of them aren't necessarily as big, but, some of them are. I'm a huge Roots fan. Two of my favorite rappers who are a little bit more underground, but have a really great following when you look them up online. What you're listening to right now is a mix that I actually DJ'd and put together myself on this program I use on my old computer, a compilation. This guy is On Cue. On Cue, it's ONCUE. He's just this younger guy. He's a white guy. It's funny because it doesn't really matter with your race with hip hop at all. It's either you're good or you're not. But a lot of people hear him and they always think that he's black because of his voice, which is sort of funny. Some of the most touching lyrics and just some of the best stuff I can ever relate to. So On Cue is definitely where it's at. Shy Stimuli, S-H-A, and then S-T-I-M-U-L-I. Guys from Brooklyn, another great artist. He's like, you know, he's been doing it for a long time now. He was in the studio when Notorious B.I.G. was working on Ready to Die because his older brother produced one of the tracks. I've always loved DMX's stuff. DMX is always great. It's really hard for me to actually even put all my things together with hip-hop. Like, every single record, almost like tons of stuff in my car that accumulate are just different records from out there to out there. I want to show you guys, for example, something that can definitely get across, like, you know, this is an example of how much and why I would love hip-hop. I got a crate full of hip-hop records for Christmas from my brother-in-law and my sister, and I want to play a song from the Roots sampler. I got a Roots sampler record for the album Tipping Point, and the Tipping Point, it was just special because the Tipping Point is one of my favorite Roots records. It's like the first one I ever bought a physical copy of, and so it was pretty awesome to have it. So I'm going to play that for you. There's a song called Somebody's Gotta Do It, and I think it'd be great for you guys to just hear this if you're not familiar with the song.
Somebody gotta be there when it gets ugly. Somebody gotta be there when it gets bloody. Somebody got to get their hands dirty. Yeah, it's a f***ed up job, but somebody gotta do it. Somebody gotta come up with the plan and be there when it hits the fan. I hope y'all out there understand the man. It's a f***ed up job, but somebody gotta do it.
I give full lyrical perfectionist, raw. That's what every soldier in my collective is. So control level is that of a gold medalist. My level-headedness, nigga, come on, so effortless. The rebel is the opposite extreme, a devilish. Back setting it with the answer to your deficit, though. My track record is hot, consecutive smut. I got game just like a record executive. A kiss to the feminine girls, loving it, gentlemen jeans slash gangster with a skill for swindling, better on black. Bet these cats are so jealous in a full-back, spitting and rap. It's unintelligent raps, the cat rapping, rattling out the Gatling, crippling rhymes, whistling past. Blow your back and smelling your blood. Now I'm hunting, blowing your frontin'. What up, cousin? Oh, now it's nothing, yo. You can't go beyond a point and overturn.
Yeah, so the video I gotta get going. It's already at 13 minutes, so you know, I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you guys get an idea from me a little bit more. I like lots of different stuff, but you know, for me, like I was saying, comfort music for me really is hip-hop, and it's definitely the thing that I feel like I spend the most time on, just listening to everything that's new that's coming out, and I feel like it's just one of the most amazing art forms, the best way of expression possible. The bass, the right MC, just the vibe. It's just, you know, for me it's just a whole completely other level of what poetry is. So, thanks for watching. stephievon, thanks for the amazing thread. I was really glad to be able to show someone this, and talk to you guys soon.